That one says wolf. That one says wolf. This is P.
Oh my gosh. No, it was true.
That was
I put it on and thought, oh my.
That is down.
That's like today.
Like someone dropped it.
Okay, first announcement, listen. You've all used your calculator, but there are a few methods that I typically notice you've never seen before for whatever reason. So I don't want you getting, Ellie and the helicopters there. Okay, I don't want you getting frustrated with this over the break. So don't worry about doing this during the break. This will be a good transition. It's always kind of the first day back is always a little bit rough, just getting back into school. So we'll work on this together on the Thursday when you return. So we're going to work on this today, but you don't need to worry about doing it at home. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Look up. Okay, you should have this written on your paper already, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. This one here was just my little example, so that's not correct, so we want to get rid of that. Just want to make sure, I think I did this last time, so we'll do it again. Please raise your hand if you know why that type of label is inappropriate and will possibly cost you points. So the blue is appropriate, the green is not. Who knows why? Let's go, Rachel.
Because it doesn't differentiate between the x-axis and y-axis, and you need to know that it's x equals b and not y equals b.
Perfectly said. How many knew it? 2 points. Okay. All right, so today, short day, we'll basically have enough time to just get through all the different things you have to know on the calculator to solve this problem. Okay? So, calculator. I can demo, I'm trying to get the software so I can demo the Inspire if I have to, but the Inspire is wonderful as far as its capability. It's just a real pain as far as the number of keystrokes required. But if we have an Inspire for this room, Boston, so if you need help, I can come help you. So, the 83 I can demo with the board. I think I mentioned this at the first of the year, but I do want to make sure you know what's going to happen with an 83. You don't need to get a new calculator. The 83 will do everything you need it to do. However, be prepared to have to press more keys and be a little more careful. It's not quite as nice as the 84, so it will work. You don't need to buy a new one, but you're going to have to press more keys. I'll show you. If you decide that you get tired of pressing the extra keys and you want to buy a new calculator, my recommendation would be an 84 color to replace an 83. But anyway. Okay, here we go. First thing is we've got to graph the picture. I always put what I've labeled as F in Y1 and what I've labeled as G in Y2. So go ahead and do that. So put your F function Y1, G function Y2. Just wave if for some reason something's not working and allowing you to do that. Okay. In calculus, whenever you graph or calculate any trig function, so sine, cosine, tangent, etc., you must be in radian mode. So hit the mode key and verify that your calculator is in radian mode. If it's not in radian mode, every problem involving a trig function will be wrong. That's the appropriate response. So, no, it's exactly how you should feel. It's like, oh my goodness. So yeah, is it important to be in radian mode? Yes, it is important to be in radian mode. Okay. Next thing, you need to get a picture that looks like this. And there's different ways, but the fastest way I have found to get the picture to work right is I go back to the calculator, and I press window. And I'm only going to choose x min and x max. I don't choose any of the rest. So I look at my picture again, and I note that really I want to start at x equals 0. I'm just not sure how far in x to go because there's nothing on the board to indicate that. If you're good with functions, you can kind of mentally do some computations. I don't worry about that. I just say, hey, I got a calculator, let's use it. So I go 0, and I normally would go to about 5 as my first guess. So I say 0 to 5, and then I just press zoom, and the item I want is called fit. I don't scroll down to fit because that takes too long, as you can see. Instead, I remember that zoom fit is item 0, and I just press zoom 0. My calculator on the board is about 10 times slower than yours. As you can see, it's still recording my keystrokes. It's very exciting. Stop already. There we go. So zoom 0. Okay, you should end up with what I have. If you don't, wave at me so I can help you. So what's happening? You type by accident.
No weird. No, if you close your mouth, it's like dead. Would it be open like this?
Anybody else? Okay, eyes on the board. Okay, one of the most unfortunate things that can happen is you spend all year preparing, studying, working hard. You go in to take the AP test, and in the middle of a problem, your calculator suddenly will not behave. Okay, I've heard stories of tears following at that point. Seriously, like people just lose it. They just start to cry because they're like, my stupid calculator won't work. Let me show you the error that Ashlyn just accidentally committed. So, no offense. Committed seemed to be a bit of a strong word. Says that just didn't come out very well. Okay, here's what happened on Ashlyn's calculator. While typing, she did something I've seen many people do. It's very common. Accidentally, instead of hitting minus, she hit negative. Then when she hit zoom fit, she got this error. Okay. Choose go to. So I press the 2. And the cursor's telling me that's what I don't like. So that reminds me, oh yeah, they've got the little tiny one, that's the negative. I need the larger version, which is the minus. Now when I zoom fit, it will work. Do you need me to do that again? Just wait. Okay, here's another one you need to know. This also will prevent tears during the AP test. If the calculator just seems to not be functioning as you expect, don't spend time trying to fix it. You don't ask the proctors, they won't help you. Okay? Instead, do this. Go second. Everybody press what I'm pressing. Choose memory, which is above plus. It's the plus key. Choose reset. We're not going to reset, but I want to show you the sequence. Choose all RAM. It's like a big long sequence, like you're trying to blow up a submarine or something. Then you would choose reset. Number 2. I give you one more warning. Nope, that was it. I'm done. So it reset my calculator. So now I have to retype it in. But that's okay. But that will get you back to a nice, good starting point. Please.
Does that put the mode in radians or degrees?
This puts the mode back in radians. So that's good too. Hit the mode button, everybody. There's another setting I would suggest you choose, and that's instead of choosing float, I'm going to choose fix 3. So I'm going to highlight the 3, press enter like that. That way the calculator will always display 3 decimal points. The AP test requires that all results be rounded to 3 or more correctly. If you round incorrectly, you lose the point. So setting the calculator to fix 3 will automatically do the rounding. Any questions? Wait, if you need to do it again. Awesome. So I need to type in my 2 functions. So I have 2 minus x cubed, tangent of x. My window was 0 to 5. I zoom fit. Questions? Okay, you should look at the picture and make a decision. Is your window too big or too small? Meaning, do I go 0 to 10? I always just double in half. Do I go 0 to 10 or should I go like 0 to 2? They're showing a lot of stuff that this picture doesn't show. So 0 to 2 seems appropriate. It's like I'm showing too much. So 0 to 2, and then zoom fit again. Questions? Do you have any potential trouble? You need to look at your calculator. Cool. The AP test writers do a pretty good job of making the window a little tricky to find. So probably just half it again. 0 to 1. Oh, that's looking pretty good now. I can tell I need to be a little bit bigger, so you can always press the on button. That will stop the graphing process. So just maybe 1.5 or something. Wave at me if you need me to check your work, check your calculator individually. Cool. That's looking pretty good. Mine's really slow. Makes no sense since I have a full computer CPU running the dump thing. It's called the software was written in a really bad way. Okay, you good? Awesome. Just to make this a little bit bigger, I've kind of played with it enough to know that 1.3 works pretty well. So. And you wait patiently one more time. Okay, one other error that occurred this morning. Oh, please, Brendan.
I just was going to ask on the AP test and things like, is the windows normally like under 10?
My experience has been if I always window 0 to 5, I always hit what I need. Like it's at least going to capture as much as I need, and I make it bigger, smaller from there. But 0 to 5 has proved to be a good starting point.
Okay.
Is that what you meant?
Yep.
Yeah. That doesn't guarantee they won't have something else, but for every problem I've ever seen, 0 to 5 was a good starting point. Okay, cool. We need to find this x coordinate. We talked about that a minute ago. We need to find this x coordinate, which we talked about as well. So again, I'm probably showing you some things you already know, but we go second, hit the trace key to see the calculate menu, choose intersect. Wave if you need me to do that again. It's asking for first curve, which means you use the up and down arrow to select which curve you want to use. Doesn't matter really, so press enter to choose. Wave if you need me to do that again. Now we need to choose the other curve, so press enter. The calculator says guess. So it's asking for the cursor to be placed near the intersection. Good enough? Wave Wave if you need me to do it again. Okay, warning to everybody, warning. On the calculator section of the test, if it doesn't say intersection, you won't have the right number and you'll lose the point. So make sure it says the word intersection. I've seen several people take a test, come up after the test, say, I don't know why I lost 3 points on this thing. I'm like, show me what you did. And they were doing this little calculation wrong, and they weren't getting the word intersection, they were just actually tracing. That's not accurate enough. It's got to say intersection. Do you need me to do it again? Solid? Okay, the other thing, because your final answer must be rounded correctly to 3 decimals, you've got to make sure that intermediate values are not rounded. So the intersection really isn't .902, it's .902785691 or something. Okay? So you need to store the entire value in the calculator. So here's how you store it. From this window, when it says intersection, it has to say intersection, do a second quit. Quit is right next to second. So second quit. That puts you back to the main screen. Then remind yourself, did I need the X or the Y coordinate? X. So press the X key, press enter, and make sure that's the right value. Question? Wait, if you need me to do it again, please.
How do you do that if it's for the Y?
I just press Y. So alpha, a little hard because you have to do the alpha key, but no, good question, good point. Anybody else? Okay, I want to store the X, I'm going to do the X again. So X, then I press store, and I choose alpha A. Now the value will be an A whenever I need it. Wait if you need me to do it again. No worries. So back on the graph, it's important that I make sure this says intersection before I do all the rest. So I'll just do that quick. So I find the intersection. Good to there. Second quit. Remember that I'm trying to store the X coordinates, so I verify it's the right value. Then just press the store key, which is above on, and alpha A. Anybody else? Wave if you need help. Oh.
It doesn't.
Let me come look. Hold on. As soon as it, I don't know, sometimes it's like a blur.
Yeah.
Just take the X and put it somewhere, and then you tell it where. I'll show you.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, who's your teacher?
What you did different is I press it. So you just play a sequence, so you work well. No, it would be done. Okay.
It's still there, guys.
Someone this morning had this happen. Just trying to make sure everyone's aware of common mistakes so you don't cry during the AP test. Okay, so this is what happened. They only got one of the 2 graphs. Raise your hand if you know what causes that. Just look at this, you can usually figure it out. Like compare the blue to the red and just raise your hand and you can see what's going to cause the red to not be graphed. So Jane?
The equal sign on the red one isn't highlighted.
Perfect. So the equal sign highlighted is what turns it on or off. So she had accidentally had that off, so that's what caused hers to malfunction. How many knew that? 2 points. Questions about anything, anyone? Next thing, we need to find this intersection as well. That's a 0, so you go second, trace menu, or the calculate menu on the trace key. Choose 0, which is item number 2. Wait, if you need me to do that again. It's asking for the left bound. So you just need to place the cursor to the left of where the 0 is located. So my calculators are a little bit slow. If you get tired of hitting the cursor, if you kind of can see the location, you can just type. It'll jump right over there. Then move the cursor to the right of where the 0 is located. So 1.3 would be, oh, that's the wrong key, don't do that. So 1.3 would be sufficient. It asks for a guess. You can just press enter, you're usually close enough. Make sure your screen says 0. Wait if you need me to do it again. Okay?
So when we do this, should we like write it like on our paper, the values, or just like keep it on the calculator?
3 points for predicting exactly what I was going to say. You have to write down the values or you will lose a point. And the values should be rounded correctly to 3 decimals. So you have to write them down, you will lose a point.
And if we, like with our calculator settings, if we did set it low and change it to 3, if we rounded correctly.
If you set your calculator to fix 3, Inspires calls it a fixed 3 because it's a fixed decimal point, then it'll round correctly. You don't have to really stress about it. You just use your calculator. 2 for Elijah. Anybody else? Wait if you need to come look. Okay. Once it says 0, same sequence again, just second quit. I want to store the x coordinate, so I just check it. Good, now store that, alpha b. Questions? Wave if you need to do it again. So back here, again, I need it to say 0, so I'll just do that fast. Good to there. So in second quit, it's the x coordinate that I'm trying to store. So let's see that. Let's do it again. So x, enter, press the store key, and just tell the calculator where you would like it stored. Say again.
Didn't you already do that?
I did. Somebody just needed to see it again. Yeah, you're good. Anybody else? Awesome. Last thing. We now need to perform this calculation here. So remember, to prevent mistakes, I always put F in Y1 and G in Y2. So now I go back to the calculator. From the main screen, you're going to type Math 9. The 83 that Kess and Drew, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, Drew, my bad. I don't know why that happens. So the 83 that Kess and Drew have won't show this. So there's a different method you'll have to use. I'll show you in a second. Everybody got this? Awesome. Now I just type in the integral. So I go 0 to a. I need to integrate g of x, which is f2. To get the list of the functions, you press the alpha key, alpha, followed by, this label here says F4, so it's the trace button. So it's alpha, F4. That will give you the list of all the functions. I need F2, and then I type in an x for dx. Wait, you need me to do it again? Now I want to add to that integral a second integral, math 9. This one goes from A to B. And I'm integrating y1 or f, so alpha f4 again, y1 dx. Press enter. Must have not caught the enter key on that last one. There we go. Yeah, please.
So when I write things on my paper, instead of X and geometric, can I use Y1 and Y2?
Oh, great question. Got to tell everybody this one. Eyes on me. Okay, yeah, you don't want to miss this. You will lose lots of points. For example, on the written test you take in this class in January, if you make this error, you'll lose, out of 100 points, you'll probably lose 30. I don't like the rule, but it is the rule, and we can't do it. We can't change the rule. They will not allow you to use the symbol y1 and y2 on your paper. So even though that would make sense, since that's what the calculator says, you can't use those symbols. So you have to use F and G.
Can I formally just write it to the side? Like,
That would be totally fine.
acceptable?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So you can come up here and just kind of informally go, oh yeah, this is y1, and this one's y2. That's totally okay. Just kind of off to the side, so they'll kind of note you're just making a little note to yourself. So, anybody else? I even think Maya feel quite confident that if you wanted to say this, they wouldn't have a problem either. You could say y1 equals.
Okay, you just can't put it in your equation.
Just in your equation, they want to see f and g. I don't think it's a rule that makes any sense in my opinion. The symbol y2 is just as valid as the symbol g, but that's the rule. So, anybody else? 2 points for Maya. And then just write down the answer here, of course. 3 decimals. Question, please. Superb. Again, so then if you go to do this one, it's all pretty well set up, so just put this in your calculator, press enter, and away you go. So do that real quick, make sure that works. Again, we'll just keep working on this. There's a few other calculator pitfalls and things, and kind of like what Maya asked about, like what do you have to write, what can you write, what can't you write. So we'll just work on this together when we get back. So have a good Christmas break. Wait for a minute and a half for the bell. Good job. Well done.
Yeah, I think
Mr. Smith.
I do not type.
Oh, no.
I know. Well, so we don't have to do anything with the
I'm so good. Christian never failed.
I do. Something about scholarship. Like I write down about what? Scholarship. Probably. I really like to not even my grandma. I almost wanted it. So I still want red and I want my
We're done with school. Rough route, eh? Rough done.
And then the top is like.
I know, I got no class.
Substitute seminary.
Oh.
Did you have the presentation, Kel?
Like the categories were
Who said you Ellie. So good.
It's like a joke.
No, wait, but don't you think that was like the best way to do it? Because you still feel like we provided insight about the book. Does it seem like an interesting book? It did.
Can't use the
Save my ancestors to secure his place.
Just on this particular problem, so you gotta figure out how to get, like, I've got my inspired to have a better picture, I'm not sure why yours is.
Story. I know. It's the same road every day.
Can I please get Haley Hyde, Bailey Ross, and Gentry Brown to come to the main office?
Things typed wrong. How do you get the, I want to see what these formulas are, how do you get those?
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's look at those for now. So that's your problem. Oh, you're doing this problem, or you're doing this problem? Oh, you're moved on, that's my, that's my, that's gotcha, so here's what you want to do different here. So just. Sorry, still, there we go. So get the integral back. There. Okay, type your limits. Okay, go over now, new thing, get variable. And choose which of these. So F1 should be that one. Oh, I just typed these. Yeah, don't retype it. It tends to cause errors. So now do an X. Do subtract. Do variable. Choose F2. And X again. And move over and hit the X and press it.